for Simone Gold, the doctor of truth, standing up, losing her job because she had more balls than any man on the left to stand for truth. And she's also a lawyer. What a smart woman, and a mother. I forgot how many children. Simone, how many children do you have? 2 children. I don't know how she does it. I don't know how she has the time to do it. But let's welcome Simone Gold. I don't know if it's
Dr. Gold! Yeah! American hero!
No way was I not going to wear red heels. First of all, I've been all over the country doing rallies and speaking engagements. This is by far the best.
Yes!
I want to thank Sheena and Rudy and all the other organizers for their passion and dedication that's going to help us keep our country.
Yeah!
Let me tell you a little bit about what's going on with me. You probably know that I'm a board-certified emergency physician and Stanford University educated attorney. I got started on this journey because I was told in my work that I couldn't prescribe an FDA-approved medication for a human being who's sitting in front of me who needed that FDA-approved medication. Not only is that horrific, it was so bizarre. Nothing like that could have ever happened in my imagination here in America. Anybody who tells you that this particular drug is not safe has been politicized.
Turn the mic up!
Can you hear me?
Yeah. No.
Okay, be really close? Okay. Anybody who tells you that hydroxychloroquine cannot save your life has been politicized. Let's talk about its safety. It's been FDA approved for 65 years. You give it to babies, children, pregnant women, nursing mothers, elderly, and immunocompromised for decades. So I knew something was fishy. Then I got a letter from the governor of the state saying that if I prescribe this medicine to patients with COVID, I could be found that it's like unprofessional conduct against my license. In other words, doctors were being threatened if they did something good for their patients. Nothing like this ever happened. As an attorney, I saw this as a turning point, a sea change, a moment in our culture that we needed to do something about. That's why I went public. That's my personal reason. Now, I want to share with you some obvious truth. Everything that happens in an election year, you can assume is happening for the purpose of affecting the election. That's a fact. Now, Thomas Jefferson said, "A nation cannot be ignorant and free." Absolutely. That's wishing for something that never was and never will be. You must be educated. To help the American people be educated, you go to my website, americasfrontlinedoctors.com, and you'll find all the medical facts you need. But I'll give you the 3 most important facts now. 1, SARS-CoV-2 is a real virus, but it doesn't take you down unless you're very compromised to begin with. Right. Even the CDC had to acknowledge that, but it's been clear since the beginning. If you have obesity or diabetes, if you have severe heart, lung, or kidney disease, then you're on the precipice, then anything can take you down, including SARS-CoV-2. But that's who comes down with the lethal case of it. Beyond that, it's simply a virus. That's it. To give you some numbers, 72 children younger than age 15 have died from COVID-19 in the entire country. Compare that to 350 who died from drowning, 680 who died from car accidents. It's ludicrous to think that the schools should be closed with numbers like that. If you want more information, again, americasfrontlinedoctors.com. Item number 2 are the masks. I'll get to the civil libertarian issue on the masks in a moment, but in terms of the medical issue, I'd like to say 2 things. I'd like people to be empowered. 1, do an internet search, read any medical journal prior to March 2020. There was never a pretense that a mask would be keeping out a virus. SARS-CoV-2 is 0.1 microns in size. That is 1/1000th the size of a hair. It absolutely cannot be kept out by a piece of cloth in front of your face. Now, in terms of being empowered yourself, so you don't believe me, it's very important that you don't let go of your own common sense.
You're gonna have the most real one. Like
put a mask on.
That's gonna
walk past somebody who's smoking a cigarette. Can you smell the smoke? Okay, the smoke is much bigger than the 0.1 micron size of trying to tell you to let go of your own common sense.
Simone, use that. That's the auto. There you go.
The third is that there is a treatment that works, hydroxychloroquine and zinc. The reason I'm mentioning this is because they're trying to tell you to live in fear. If you knew you had a bottle in the medicine cabinet that you could take if you needed it, you would stop living in fear. I'd actually encourage everyone to get some, put it in their medicine cabinet and forget about it. The way you can do that, my number one question I was asked is, how do I get my hands on this stuff? AmericasFrontlineDoctors.com, click on physician referral, you get a telemedicine consult. It's not me, it's a third party, but I vetted them. And you will talk to hydroxychloroquine knowledgeable doctors, these pharmacists who are not interested in interfering with the doctor-patient relationship. You will be empowered. You won't have to worry. Now, in terms of the legal, because the other part of who I am is a lawyer. Right now, the executive branch has taken too much power. The law in California is that the governor must terminate a state of emergency at the earliest possible date.
Wow.
Now, that earliest possible date has come and gone a long time ago. So we are working right now on bringing in a lawsuit against Newsom. Watch for that over the next 2 weeks. The second legal fact I want you to know, coronavirus is not a unique legal situation. Our founding fathers wrote the Bill of Rights fully aware of epidemics. There was smallpox, there was plague, there was yellow fever, there was diphtheria, there was dengue fever. And there was the 13 colonies influenza epidemic of the 1730s. Okay, they knew all about it, they wrote the Bill of Rights. Anyway, the reason I focus on this is because epidemics is a perfect opportunity for the government to make a power grab. It's more perfect than a war or natural disaster, because an epidemic causes more fear because it's invisible, there's no borders, the entire nation is affected everywhere at once. It causes us to segregate some people, contact tracing, testing, quarantining, and it makes us powerless. We can't volunteer, we can't do anything. It makes us dependent upon experts. The reason I'm focusing on this is that's why we have the Bill of Rights, really specifically in cases of epidemics. That's going on right now. We have an inalienable right to assemble. That includes the right to work. The right to work is an inalienable right. And let me tell you, as you know, Governor Newsom and Mayor Garcetti have put rules in place blocking that. Now, monsters! As a contrast, we've got Governor Kristi Noem in South Dakota.
Yeah!
But what I heard her say at a conference I was at is she looked over the law and she said, I do not have the authority to say what is an essential business. Nowhere in the rules, in the Constitution or statute says a governor has the right to say this is essential, but that's not essential. And only certain governors and certain mayors are saying that is not the truth. I want to empower you. James Madison, our fourth president, said, you should take alarm at the first experiment on your liberties. We hold this to be the first duty of citizens. The free men of America did not wait until usurped power had strengthened itself. That's why it's important to fight. Now, very quick.
And it started with plastic straw.
Very short call to action. First, you cannot be ignorant. You cannot, if you're ignorant, you will not be free. To help you not be ignorant, again, AmericasFrontlineDoctors.com. You get all the medical facts you need. You can get your hands on hydroxychloroquine if you think you need it. You can learn about other treatments, about masks, and you can learn about overcoming the fear. Second, to the extent that you can, you should not comply with the mask, and I'm going to tell you why. One is it strengthens your personal resolve, your personal belief in freedom, because it's hard when everyone else around you has gone mad to be sure that you're right. You must do that for yourself. The second reason is you have to role model for other people what it's like to be without the mask. I've been stunned to learn that there are human beings who are genuinely afraid that they're going to hurt another human being if they're not wearing a mask. They may need to see you do it 100 times, 100 people wearing no mask, before they will stop being unafraid. That's the second reason. And the third reason is to put our opposition on notice that they're going to have stiff opposition in this category.
Maybe after James, I'll tell Shiva.
Ever.
Hey, James.
The reason it's important to be joyful.
James.
The other
James.
side is imposing misery
When
on
you grow up,
everyone.
tell
And
her
this is
he's next.
causing you to lose your
Tell her
resolve
he
and your
wants to go
strength
after
and
you.
your hope. And you have to also role model for other people about being joyful. This is what's going to bring the country back. I love you guys. Go and vote.
Woo! Love you!
Okay, so I'm obviously not a good salesperson. I just wrote a book because everybody's asking me what my personal story has been. And they said, what do you want the title to be? And it's I Do Not Consent. I fight against medical cancel culture. It's real and it's dangerous and it affects every single person here. If you can't have an honest doctor-patient relationship or conversation, you're all going to be in big trouble. So I'm going to sign books over there. Please come and buy it.